What's up everyone, Speedy here. In this 1v1 video, we're going to be doing 2 live games as well as 1 replay review. So let's get right into it. Here we are, game number 1. Ideal at all. We get a fortunate bomb. That was very awkward. Good demo, or good demo attempt. I should have seen the bump coming. I wanted to position differently there. That was poor boost, or poor demo awareness. That's why you don't commit the way you do. I'm telling you guys, learn your power slide cuts. This is exactly why you learn your power slide cuts. Basic mechanic, but it gets you goals. Good power, it's not on though. Okay, that somehow bumps me even though I was completely separated from that. Fair enough. I saw the bump coming and I was separate from it, but... Crazy fucking hitboxing, but okay, Rocket League. Try to avoid the mistake of overcommitting. You see how by being aware of his bump play, like it's very obvious that he wanted to go for the bump here. Like you see, like by brake checking here, if I stayed committed to the play, he would have been able to bump me because he would have gotten the back of my car. Fine with this. I'm very fine with this. Awareness. It's just all awareness there, knowing that he overcommitted. That is really unfortunate to have landed that way. Overcommitted for that, honestly. I didn't even have to go for that. It was just super low percentage. It's just a shitty play. That is perfect defense right there. Let's go, dude. That was so nicely defended. That was such a good save. Okay, here we are in game number 2. Just actually lost a game in between this and the first game, which is a good game. That's going to be a good reference point to understand what went wrong here. Middle here. What a 50, man. What a 50. That was so well played. Opponent super trolls that. Honestly, I'm fine with getting scored on there because I actually tried. I actually tried to go for an angle that's tough. Those are really hard to save, and I'm happy to learn from that. I'll take the freebie though. He wants to do the fake multiple times. I'm going to start reading it and then see that he's going to do that. And I'll take the free goals. Tell you guys, so many people want to learn how to do fucking flip resets and crazy shit, but nobody wants to learn the power slide cuts. Nobody wants to learn the basics in the ground play, man. That's the stuff that's going to win you games. You want to get better? Learn this stuff. Ground air dribble. Not great touch. Back insert boost. We can grab this pad and this pad. Really shitty awareness. I need to not be coming off ball cam there. Especially if somebody's going to be playing like fast off their backboard. Thanks for bumping me into a better position. And he gets rewarded for trolling it because he gets free space by trolling. Okay. Fair. I mean, dude, you gotta understand, man. You can't keep fucking doing the same crap expecting me to not read you, right? Like, that's the second time in a row you've done that kickoff. Third time in a row. And you're about to get yourself scored on again. Do you know what the definition of insanity is? That. Oh, that actually scored? Dude, I got the best, like, doink out of that. It was actually so nice. Oh. Okay. We did a little trolling here. It's not what I wanted to do at all. Let's pull it right. GG. Weird game. So this was a very one-sided game. This was a really rough game. Just did not vibe well with the way this opponent played. I definitely made some decisional errors, and also just, as you can see, like touch errors. I just didn't get the touches I wanted. Didn't really want to go for a Fortnite flick there, honestly. What I was really wanting to go for was just kind of like, I wanted to initially go for a front foot flick. It's just I messed up the timing and ended up obviously getting a Fortnite flick, or what is technically like a type of delay flick, or similar to like an Evo flick. I call that one a Fortnite flick because it was definitely not intentional. But would have been nicer if I got better contact out of it. But unfortunately, just overcommit to the position. That bump, I'm not gonna lie, I thought I stopped with ball cam for a second, thinking that bump would have done more. The bump actually led him into a perfect recovery, which is really tilting. I was like, okay, that's unfortunate. And you're gonna see here, I get demoed a lot in this game, especially early on. That's a not great kickoff here. I would say, like, this position, what you want to do instead is you want to speed flip, not side flip. You see how the direction went like that? That's a side flip. A speed flip is once you set your direction, it's smooth and it actually kind of holds that direction. That became essentially close to a speed flip, but it's still a side flip in that the speed there in position, if you look at like where I'm at, I would have actually been able to beat him just a tiny bit more and been able to position better. Also, be very cautious about how you flip here. One of the big things I struggle with is how to flip in the right direction, because the problem is I don't know if I need to flip right or flip left, and it's hard to decide that when I'm playing these kickoffs. I'm not sure what to look for. Like, even if the opponent's left or right or center, I don't know how to guide that. It's hard for me to, even looking at like the nameplates, it's hard to tell. Like here, I'm way to the left. I try to flip right, trying to kill it a little bit, but because I'm so far to the left here, trying to hit it right, it creates this awkwardness. What I could have done is try to be a bit more center. That starts with the bad flip, though. Remember, that starts with the poor flip. Opponent gets a good bump there. Just unfortunate that he was able to get to supersonic that fast. And also get scored on here, I remember. Yeah, I get bumped here, and of course it fucking trips me up. I think it's another freebie, and I was just, at that point, I was like, okay, dude. Like, alright. Just getting bodied this game. Went for a soft delay. I say soft delay, it wasn't like a full delay, it was really more of like a small delay, just to kind of change the timing up. Here, it's just trying to play aggressive with the play, getting a little annoyed here. Big for this play, just trying to force this. Opponent was potentially going for a bump there, but I just wanted to put myself in a good spot. Definitely not a scoreable angle. There's nothing I can really do in this position here. Here, just trying to play for the opponent's mistake. That was just super awkward. What would be better, instead of like turning around and hesitating, is try to watch for the bounce earlier. So if you're in a position like this, what you want to do is try to watch where this white circle is. So I'm going to play it back a little bit, but from a little bit further back. Watch this white circle. Pay attention to where it's going. And you see that it's going to be bouncing on this curve right here. When it bounces on this curve, that usually is going to tell you it's going to pop out a little bit. A little bit or a lot, depending on how centered it is to that curve. The more to the side of that curve, the center of that curve, the more it's going to pop out. The more to the center, it's going to pop up like this at a 45, what would be as close to a 45-degree angle of trajectory, like initial trajectory. The more on the inside of it, the more it's going to kind of roll a little bit, just because it doesn't get the contact necessary to actually like force it that way. Maybe we'll win this play here. That's a good flick. That's definitely a good flick here. I played that position well. That's a rough one there. Kind of actually played this a little bit better. I could have gotten this pad right here. So this is a hard position to be in because I'm trying to play this wide so I have an easier read. But what you could do is just a little bit earlier on the play. So watch this from this angle. You're going to see a very brief moment where I could challenge this a little differently. So here, you see how I missed that first pad and my positioning? And I went like from here to here. You see how like off axis I am from this pad lane? What you could do instead is cut up here, then come up here, and then set up these pads while keeping ball cam on. So while we're watching this, you're going to be like this. You're going to be like pad, 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 and then watching back. You can play this up the wall later on in the play, depending on if he gets a higher play. You can play this down low, try to play for 50 and try to push it out. Just remember to be careful about how you place your car. See how it makes this more awkward? Just makes it a harder angle for me to read, and because it's harder to read, makes it easier and more prone to make those mistakes. So it's really key to recognize that. I'm really annoyed I got beat here. I remember really being like pissed at myself because of the beat. Yeah, and here, like, the contact that I hit him with just did nothing to him. He was totally fine afterwards. Which, unfortunately, that's physics. Definitely a really rough game. But there's lots of instructional moments in these rough games. And that's kind of the nature of the game. You know, there are games where you're going to suck ass. But that's kind of necessary for you to understand the limits. Good challenge here. Not a good play here. This is a good challenge. But the recovery after this point here was poor. What I could have done is focused on recovering a little bit earlier. and try to play for a bounce. So watch it from this perspective here. You'll see a little bit better about why this play could have been like a bit different. So earlier, use a little bit of arrow right, just earlier, to correct and start boosting towards the ball. And as it's coming down, start guiding it. Grab this pad, and then be in a position where you can play for the play here. You'll have a little bit of a higher probability of making it work. It's still not a super high like probability play. It's a really hard angle. I didn't mean to flip here. I was actually trying to just simply go for like a double jump pop. Not a pop, but just a double jump there, just to kind of get the opponent to bite a little bit. And I overcommitted by the flip there. Just not ideal. I remember getting a good ground air dribble here. Nice. That's a good play. What you want to do in these plays is you want to try to stay semi-flat a little bit, and then like make sure you kind of scoop it up a bit. But you, like, I made a mistake here trying to air roll a little bit too much. It's not something you want to do a lot. I do get bumped at the end, but if that was off axis, as you're going to see here in a little bit, there was a goal coming up here that I get scored on because I overcommitted due to the same type of error. And these are moments that are important to make a difference. Good bump here. Yeah, it's right here. No, but not this one. That was also a poor play. What I could do different here is try to get under the ball and go for a back foot flick earlier. Also, just place for a 50. Don't pop it up into an opponent that's ready to challenge you, because that is how you lose the 50. What you can do instead is drop it off your car. So ball's here, and you're popping it up like this. Don't do that. Don't make the mistake I just did. What you want to do is then drop it so it goes in front of your car, and then you place for a 50. You can single jump 50, so you can keep it low. You can stay grounded, depending on where the opponent is. Maybe they whiff it. If you want to stay grounded, so you minimize your recovery time. You have options, but those options are better than what the play I made there was. You don't have to try to bring it up further and think you can get the play above an opponent that's already challenging and already facing you at minimum. It's a very dangerous type of position to find yourself in, so try to be careful about that. Didn't have to flip there. I actually give possession away because of that. What you could do instead, like I understand the reason why I played this fast, but actually just faking there and just doing nothing, opponent was likely going to turn away anyways. There's a clear opportunity for me to just simply take time, force the ball upfield, but under my control. But because I panicked and I flipped and made a flip hit, or flip touch here, what ends up happening is the opponent gets an easy touch here, and they can now challenge for the play, which becomes a lot more dangerous for me. Obviously, that's not something that's good for me. Just play for the bounce here. Opponent has to leave because there's lots of space. Could have gotten a slightly better angle here, and that actually would have been scoreable. Just, it's a hard angle though. And that's also just a tough angle. Just very much not ideal play. It's very poor. Yeah, you see how I come up like that? That swing there is bad technique. That's a bad technique. And the reason it's bad technique is I'm going to point out specifically right here. So as I'm coming up here, look how much separation there is here, but also not just the separation, but look at the direction of touches. The touches are now being forced that way. It's being pushed outward instead of being on the left of the ball and pushing it inward towards the goal. That's just what kind of pushes the ball out more and puts it in a place that's hard for me to recover. I used every bit of my boost. Terrible decision there, and also bad positioning. And also leaves me in a position that's totally vulnerable, and I can't do anything after fully committing. I understand I'm very low on time, and I'm down 3 goals anyways, but it's just, you want to try to, if you're going to try to play riskier, you need to have good technique that plays towards the risk. Unfortunately here, just can't get there in time, and that's the game. And at that point, I'm like, that's it. I'm not going to ruin my mental trying to play anymore. Games happen. Losses happen. This is an important part of the game, is how you play and how you win and lose. How you treat those wins and losses is the core part of how you improve, and how you don't improve depending on your mentality. Using these replay reviews, I hope you are able to also learn and get some insights from these games. If you would like me to do replay reviews of your videos, go down into my video description here, click on the Discord link to join, go all the way down to the replay files section and post your replay files. If you don't know how to actually post your replays and get that set up, don't worry. Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll help you go through that process. If you enjoyed watching this video, I'd like to ask you to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Speedy Man out.